Exploring India is an intense experience that requires an open mind. The country is a unique blend of mysticism, exoticism, and complexity, where beauty and chaos coexist. From time to time, the internet brings us viral videos from India, which make us laugh with unusual scenes, from cows wandering through chaotic traffic to mischievous monkeys stealing cell phones. What really catches the eye, however, are the popular street food videos. The images are not only surprising because of the eccentricity of the ingredients, but above all, because of the sanitary conditions. Dirty hands, cooks' clothes in a precarious state, garbage strewn everywhere, as well as food prepared and sold next to open sewage pits. A scene of extreme filth that is deeply shocking. Naturally, this makes people ask, why is India so dirty? In this video, we will explore the reasons for India's reputation as one of the dirtiest places in the world. India, officially called the Republic of India, is located in South Asia. It is the second most populous country and has the seventh largest economy in the world. But behind these figures are many social differences. The name India in English comes from the river Indus, which means river in Sanskrit, its ancient language. The country is a mixture of ancient traditions and modern things. With so many different religions and languages, Indian culture is very varied. And the British, who colonized the country, also left their mark. India is the birthplace of Ayurvedic medicine, an ancient system focused on balancing body, mind, and spirit, based on herbs, diet, massage, and meditation. Indian food is famous for its intense flavors and use of spices. Dishes such as curry, biryani, and samosa are known around the world. If you think Hollywood is the biggest film industry in the world, I'm sorry to tell you that you are completely wrong. Bollywood rules here, holding the title of the biggest film producer on the planet. The Indians release some 1,500 films a year, winning over a loyal audience that fills theaters to see each new movie. The name Bollywood comes from a mixture of Bombay, the old name for Mumbai, where this industry is concentrated, and Hollywood, the famous film industry in the United States. In addition, Indians have a cheerful air. Dancing is for them an expression of happiness, so if someone is happy, it's time to dance. It's as simple as that. That's why Bollywood movies always end with lively dance routines. India also celebrates Holi, one of the most vibrant and colorful festivals, held every year to mark the arrival of spring. During this festival, the streets are filled with people throwing colored powder at each other, symbolizing the victory of good over evil and the unity of the community. The country is also home to one of the world's most iconic monuments, the Taj Mahal, a World Heritage Site, and voted one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. This incredible palace was built in the name of a great love. Emperor Shah decided to erect the monument in honor of his favorite wife, who died in 1631. More than 20,000 laborers worked on the project, which took 12 years to complete. Incredible, isn't it? India is a true melting pot of religions and beliefs. Almost 80% of the population practices Hinduism, but there are also followers of Buddhism, Islam, Sikhism, and other religions. This diversity is reflected in an impressive variety of temples, mosques, churches, and holy sites, such as the Golden Temple in Amritsar, the Khajuraho Temple, and the Ajanta and Ellora caves. India is truly a mix of quirks and curiosities. Want some examples? Many Indian wives do not say their husband's name out loud, as it is considered disrespectful. Widows are considered unlucky, and foreigners are forbidden to leave the country with rupees, the local currency. Let's not forget the cows. Here they are sacred according to Hinduism, so they have a strong presence, roaming freely in the streets, even in crowded places. They form groups along roads and avenues, and can sometimes become a challenge for those who get too close. And there's more. Monkeys also make their presence felt, leaping from rooftops and performing acrobatics. Sometimes, however, they just go for it. The biggest challenge is when they decide to interact with people, trying to grab food or any object within reach. In Jaipur, there is even a monkey temple, home to hundreds of these animals that can surprise the bravest visitors. Despite being the world's 5th largest economy, with a gross domestic product of $3.25 trillion, According to the latest IMF figures, India faces significant challenges. Social inequality is pronounced, and unregulated growth is having a negative impact on the country. Many cities suffer from problems such as pollution, lack of sanitation, and filth, revealing a less attractive side. According to a report by IQIR, a Swiss company specializing in air quality, the news about pollution in Indian cities is alarming. With 39 Indian cities among the 50 most polluted in the world, the population is facing high pollution levels that exceed the limits set by the World Health Organization. It is also worrying to note that more than 63% of Indians breathe air quality below the national standard, and the population of the Indo-Gangetic Plains, which includes some states such as Bihar, Chandigarh, and Delhi, face even more serious consequences, with an estimated loss of about 7.6 years of life expectancy due to air pollution. And it's not just the air that is a concern. India is filthy, to the point of completely negating that 6-second grace period for eating food that has fallen on the ground. Garbage is piling up everywhere. Containers swirl in the streets along with clouds of dust, and many places exhale the unmistakable smell of waste. This is no ordinary garbage. Here it is mixed with the smell of feces and urine in the open air. And surprisingly, this situation is not only due to animal-related issues, such as cows, but to the shortage of toilets, a challenge recognized even by the government as a national problem. Worldwide, more than 2.6 billion people do not have access to adequate toilets, resulting in 200 million tons of feces being dumped in the open air each year. India is at the forefront of this problem, with some 750 million people without access to toilets and sewage systems. The work of feces collection, often unprotected, is carried out by men and women. They face precarious conditions, dealing with human waste in open sewers, a practice that is especially complicated during rainy periods. The amount of feces produced in India exceeds that of countries such as the United States, Indonesia, and Brazil combined. Some alarming figures highlight the scale of the problem. Every day, the country produces about 120,000 tons of feces, equivalent to about 1.2 billion liters of urine. If all this excrement were transformed into methane gas, it would have an explosive capacity equivalent to 18 atomic bombs. In addition, the workers in charge of cleaning these areas are paid very little, something less than $10 per hour. Interestingly, both the Vedas, sacred texts of Hinduism, and the Suras and Quran, sacred texts of Sunni Islam practiced by most Muslims in India, address personal hygiene considerations. Both religious traditions value the maintenance of cleanliness of the body and living environment as a divine practice. So much so that Indians eat with the right hand, as the left hand is used for personal cleanliness and is considered unclean. In practice, however, this is not always the case. Anyone visiting India will find appalling sanitary conditions in the big cities, such as New Delhi, for example. The degrading conditions are so obvious that even Mahatma Gandhi spoke out about them in a 1916 letter. Last night I visited the Vishwanath temple. If a foreigner were to come to this great temple, would he not be justified in condemning us? Is it fair that the streets surrounding our sacred temples should be as filthy as they are? If even our temples are not models of cleanliness, what can our government be? We do not know the basic laws of cleanliness. We spit everywhere. The result is an indescribable mess. And here it is worth noting the great impact this lack of sanitation and filth has on rivers, especially the Ganges, which plays a vital role in Indian life, being sacred to Hindus and fundamental to the livelihood of many families. River water is an essential source for drinking, cooking, washing clothes, and personal hygiene. During the Mahakumbh Mela festival, some 20 million devotees seek spiritual purification by immersing themselves in the waters of the Ganges for 55 days. For Hindus, the river is sacred, emanating from the will of the goddess Ganges, which is reflected in funeral traditions, where the dead are cremated on rafts. Even the bodies of cows, considered sacred, are deposited in the river when they die. However, the Ganges has suffered from decades of pollution due to the uncontrolled discharge of sewage, industrial waste, fertilizers, pesticides, and even decaying corpses. This pollution has serious health consequences for the population, contributing to diseases such as hepatitis, diarrhea, and cancer, with a significant impact on the region's high infant mortality rate. In the holy city of Varanasi, the alarming levels of bacteria in the river exceed the World Health Organization acceptable limit by 3,000 times. The Yamuna River, a tributary of the Ganges, also faces similar problems. During the 2021 Chhath Puja festival, a toxic layer of foam from sewage and industrial waste covered parts of the river. This foam, with high levels of ammonia and phosphates, can cause respiratory and skin problems. Despite the government's efforts to remove the foam, experts are concerned about the damage that has already occurred. The stretch of the river in Delhi is described as ecologically dead, with no fish or freshwater birds. Hindu devotees have been seen, even in the face of toxic foam, bathing, highlighting the lack of options for rituals such as bathing in bodies of water. Having said all this, the big question arises. Why has this happened? Why are these problems happening in a country that is ranked 7th in the world in economic terms? Here it is essential to avoid simplistic answers based on Orientalism, which suggests the existence of different worlds, or on racist ideas, according to which the people of the Indian subcontinent are dirty by nature. India's dirtiness is not due to neglect or lack of care, but has historical roots. During the British colonial period, urban reforms focused on the needs of the elite, leaving the majority of the population without basic sanitation. This, coupled with poverty and lack of infrastructure, resulted in poor living conditions. Pollution, especially in rivers such as the Ganges, is a long-standing problem, caused in part by British industrial development. Another cultural challenge is the high illiteracy rate, which affects about 26% of the Indian population. Lack of access to quality education hinders the transmission of basic knowledge about hygiene and collective health. In short, squalor in India is a complex problem, rooted in colonial history and compounded by cultural and infrastructural challenges. Transforming this landscape requires holistic approaches and awareness. Did you know about this other side of India? Which part of it struck you the most? Share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to receive more quality content. Thank you to all of you who have joined us, and see you next time.